Hello friends, welcome to Swapnil Sayas. In this video, we shall be covering the chapters 4 and 5 of the economic survey. If you are yet to watch the previous videos of chapters 1, 2 and 3, then the link to them is provided in the description box. Please visit it. Let's get started. The first important thing to be noted from this chapter is the new facility started by the Reserve Bank of India in its April 2022 meeting, the Standing Deposit Facility or SDF. It allows for the deposit of excess funds by banks with the RBI without the necessity of collateral in the form of government securities, thereby allowing effective liquidity management in a collateral-free manner. The SDF, introduced at a rate of 3.75%, replaced the reverse repo rate as the new floor of the Liquidity Adjustment Facility (LAF) corridor. Here it is worth mentioning that while the SDF window is available for overnight deposits, the RBI retains the flexibility to absorb surplus liquidity of longer tenures under the window if necessary, with appropriate pricing. Following the outbreak of the COVID pandemic, the RBI lowered the policy rates, repo, fixed reverse repo, SDF, and marginal standing facility (MSF). Between May 2022 and December 2022, and over 5 meetings, the Monetary Policy Committee implemented a cumulative hike of 225 basic points each in the policy repo rate, the SDF, the MSF, and the bank rate. Since the middle of the previous decade, the RBI and the government have made dedicated efforts in terms of calibrated policy measures like strengthening the regulatory and supervisory framework, implementation of 4Rs approach of recognition, resolution, recapitalization, and reforms to clean and strengthen the balance sheet of the banking system. These continuous efforts over the years have culminated in the enhancement of risk absorption capacity and a healthier banking system balance sheet, both in terms of asset quantity and quality over the years. Consequently, the asset quality of scheduled commercial banks has been improving steadily over the years across all major sectors. The gross non-performing asset (GNPA) ratio has decreased from 8.2% in March 2020 to a 7-year low of 5.0% in September 2022, while net non-performing assets (NNPA) have dropped to a 10-year low of 1.3% of total assets. Lower slippages and the reduction in outstanding GNPAs through recoveries, upgrades, and write-offs led to this decrease. Sector-wise, industry with around 37% GNPA has the highest share in the total GNPA of scheduled commercial banks. It is followed by services which has 28% GNPA. Agriculture, though comes third with 23% GNPA, has the highest percent of GNPA of around 9% as of September 2022. Going ahead, as per the baseline scenario of the RBI's stress testing framework, the declining tendency in the GNPA ratio is likely to continue and is projected to drop further to 4.9% in March 2023. The growing importance of the NBFC sector in the Indian financial system is reflected in the consistent rise of NBFC's credit as a proportion to GDP, as well as in relation to credit extended by scheduled commercial banks. Supported by various policy initiatives, NBFCs could absorb the shocks of the pandemic. They built up financial soundness during FY22, marked by balance sheet consolidation, improvement in asset quality, augmented capital buffers, and profitability. The continuous improvement in asset quality is seen in the declining GNPA ratio of NBFCs from the peak of 7.2% recorded during the second wave of the pandemic, June 2021, to 5.9% in September 2022, reaching close to the pre-pandemic level. Although this softening was observed across sectors, the GNPA ratio of the service sector remains in double digits. The Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code (IBC) is a law which was enacted in December 2016 to govern insolvency and bankruptcy proceedings for companies, partnership firms, and individuals. It has facilitated exit of distressed firms, thereby allocating scarce economic resources towards more productive use. Sectoral analysis reveals that 52% of the ongoing corporate insolvency resolution process (CIRP) belong to industry, followed by 37% in the services sector by September 2022. Further, within the industry, 74% of the initiated CIRPs was from the manufacturing sector. Of these, the textile, basic metals, and food sectors accounted for 48% of the ongoing CIRPs, while in the services sector, 60% of the ongoing CIRPs belongs to real estate, renting, and business activities. As per the RBI data, in FY22, the total amount recovered by scheduled commercial banks under IBC has been the highest compared to other channels such as Lok Adalats, SARFAESI Act, and DITs in this period. Insurance markets globally have shown a remarkable flexibility and resilience in overcoming the effects of pandemic. Internationally, the potential and performance of the insurance sector are generally assessed using two parameters: insurance penetration, which is the ratio of total insurance premium to the gross domestic product or GDP in a year; insurance density, which is a ratio of total insurance premium to the population, that is, insurance premium per capita. Life insurance penetration in India was 3.2% in 2021, almost twice more than the emerging markets and slightly above the global average. However, most life insurance products sold in India are savings linked with just a small protection component. Hence, households remains exposed to a significant financial gap in the event of premature death of the primary breadwinner. The insurance density in India has increased from $11.1 in 2001 to $91 in 2021. Density for life insurance was $69 and non-life insurance was $22 in 2021. In keeping with the relatively faster expansion of insurance market in the country. India's largest life insurer, the Life Insurance Corporation of India or LIC, went public in May 2022, raising $2.7 billion in the country's largest IPO to date. A rapidly maturing insurance market has provided a lucrative opportunity to the government to privatize its stake in insurance business. Accordingly, the General Insurance Business Nationalization Amendment Act 2021 allows the central government to pare its stake to less than 51% of the equity capital in a specified insurer. Friends, here we complete the chapter 4. Before proceeding on to the chapter 5, let's have a small joke time. A UPSC aspirant took his girlfriend on a date on a Valentine's Day. To make a unique impression over her, he said, "You are the preamble to the constitution of my life." The girl, who was also an aspirant, replied, "That's very impressive. But remember that if you try to amend this preamble, then there will be a revolution more aggressive than the French Revolution." Consumer price inflation in India went through three phases in 2022. A rising phase up to April 22 when it crested at 7.8%, then holding pattern at around 7% to August 22, and then a decline to around 5.7% by December 22. In FY23, retail inflation was mainly driven by higher food inflation, while core inflation, which is price changes in goods and services except from food and energy sectors, stayed at a moderate level. Food inflation ranged between 4.2% to 8.6% between April and December 22, while the core inflation rate stayed at around 6% except in April 22. The rising phase was largely due to fallout of the Russia-Ukraine war and a shortfall in crop harvest due to excessive heat in some parts of the country. The RBI forecast elevated domestic prices for cereals and spices in the near term owing to supply shortages. Milk prices are also expected to spike, reflecting high feed costs. To check the soaring prices of wheat and rice, the government has prohibited the export of wheat products under HS code 1101 and imposed an export duty on rice. Further, to insulate vulnerable sections from the rise in prices, the government has launched a new integrated food security scheme, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana, on 1st January 2023 to provide free food grains to more than 80 crore beneficiaries. A buffer stock of pulses has been maintained for price stabilization. Calibrated release of pulses from the buffer stock will moderate the prices in the market. The import duty on masoor was brought down to 0%. Further, the Agriculture Infrastructure and Development Cess AIDC on masoor was brought down to 0%. On 30th March 2022, the import of tur and urad under the free category was extended until 31st March 2023. RBI projects a CPI inflation of 5% in Q1 of FY24 and 5.4% in Q2 of FY24. However, a lot depends on global geopolitical happenings and domestic economic conditions. Friends, hope that you liked this video. Subscribe to the channel to get notifications about the upcoming videos. Thank you.